Hi, Mark. I'm going to read some news. The first news title is GLB Congressman thinks poor kids should work for free school lunch. According to data from the 2012 census, Georgia has the sixth highest child poverty rate in the country. Yet, rather than discussing how to help the more than 1 in 4 children living under the poverty line in the state, Rep. Jack Kingston, a candidate in the Republican primary to replace retiring Sen. Saxby Chambliss, is more concerned with cutting free lunch programs in public schools. Speak, Speaking at a meeting of the Jackson County Republican Party, Kingston told the audience, "But one of the things I've talked to the Secretary of Agriculture about, why don't you have the kids pay a dime, pay a nickel to instill in them that there is, in fact, no such thing as a free lunch?" The congressman is so concerned that students grasp the concepts of free market economics, allow Milton Friedman, that he would take the situation a step further, asking kids to work for a meal. Never mind that information retention permits for students are underfed. Instead of paying pocket change, Kingston alternative was suggested, or maybe sweep the floor of the cafeteria, and yes, I understand that that will be an administrative problem, and I understand that it would probably lose your money. But think what we would gain as a society in getting the least out of their head that there is such a thing as a free lunch. For students to be eligible for Georgia school breakfast and lunch program, a family of four must take less than $43,568 per year before taxes. The state was also part of a pilot federal program this year that, in Atlanta, provided 25,000 students with free breakfast and lunch on school days. The federal program kicks in when more than 40% of students at any given school are on the state program. More than half of 100 public schools in Atlanta were eligible this year, which means that if Kirsten gets elected and brings his no free lunch plan to bear, the schools in Atlanta and throughout the state will gleam. The next news I'm going to tell you is U.S. fears North Korean execution could be prelude to provocation. Washington. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un's execution of his uncle last week is an example of the worsening unpredictability of that region and could be a prelude to some kind of provocation by Pyongyang. Tom Pentagon officials said on Thursday the execution of Jang Song-sak on Friday was the biggest upheaval in years in North Korea, which has conducted three nuclear tests and this year raised the possibility of nuclear war with South Korea and the United States. This kind of ignorant actions by dictators are often a precursor to provocation to distract attention from what they are doing inside of the country. General Martin Dempsey, chairman of the U.S. Military Joint Chiefs of the Staff, told a Pentagon news conference. North Korea's KCNA news agency said last week Jung had been executed for trying to seize power and for driving the economy into an uncontrollable catastrophe. But North Korean politics are virtually time travel from outside. Analysts have speculated, for instance, that John could have been purged over a falling out with King or other personal reasons. U.S. Defense Secretary Chuck Hagel said that uncertainty about North Korea's motives is concerning to everyone. The nation is as close as any nation in the world. There is no transparency, Hagel said. And so when you see things like this occur, it heightens the reaction of what people think could happen with the kind of unpredictability. So it's not a welcome event at all. Dempsey did not explicitly say what kind of provocation he feared from the North. The United States blames it for the 2010 sinking of a South Korean warship. Tensions were heightened earlier this year during U.S.-South Korea military drills that Pyongyang branded a vehicle for invasion. In a rare show of force during the drills last year, two nuclear-capable Batwing V-2 stealth bombers flew 37 one in 2 hours from their U.S. base to drop dummy munitions on a South Korean range, and then return home. Next edition of those annual drills are expected to be held in March, a Pentagon spokesman said. The next news I'm going to read is Tribe suspect in Greece saying is likely on run. Denver. A nationwide search is underway for a former long-distance tracker who is suspected in the death of 3 people in Colorado and is likely on the run rather than hiding out, authorities said Thursday. Harry Carroll Mapps is wanted on charges of first-degree murder and arson in the November 27 shooting death and a fire at the home where the bodies were found. Pueblo County Sheriff Kirk Heather said at the news conference in Pueblo. Mapps, 59, was a friend of one victim and had been staying with him. Authorities said. Taylor said the fire was set to cover up the shootings. He said investigations have some ideas about where Mapps might go but declined to provide details. He was an over-the-road truck driver. He's very familiar with some that traveled roads across the country, Taylor said. Taylor said Mapps should be considered armed and dangerous. He declined to say what kind of weapon he might have. The bodies of 51-year-old Reginald Tudor, his wife, 50-year-old Kim Tudor, and their daughter, 33-year-old Dawn Roderick, were found in the remains of the home outside the small town of Rye. Roderick lived in nearby Pueblo with her husband and 3 children and was at her parents' home at the time of the shootings. Mapps was a friend of Reginald Tudor's and had been working for Tudor's trucking company while living with him and his wife, authorities said. Taylor said investigators have received hundreds of tips and followed all of them. He said Mapps' last known location was the town of La Junta in southeastern Colorado, where authorities said he cached a check made out to one of the victims. An earlier warrant for Mapps' arrest listed charges of the theft, identity theft, and burglary, all related to the alleged check theft. Authorities identified Mapps as a suspect in the deaths 3 days after the fire, but the murder and arson charges were not announced until Thursday. Taylor said the warrant took time to process. The new charges were making one of the most sought-after fugitives in the country, the sheriff said. Law enforcement agencies nationwide will not want a triple homicide suspect on the streets. The warrant is sealed and no details have been released. A federal fugitive arrest warrant has also been issued for Mapps. U.S. Marshal John Camisell said Mapps was initially described as a handyman. His estranged wife, Sandy Mapps, told the Denver Post she ordered him to leave their home in Dimmitt, Texas last spring. He quit a farm labor job in Texas and moved to Colorado, she said. The next news I'm going to tell you is inspired by sick friend. Kids rock to raise money for cancer research. The runway hamsters on exactly the Beatles. Well, not yet, anyway. But the group of 9-year-old Sailing Rockers clearly have their hearts in the right place. The boys, Daho, for some 9-year-old Isabella drums and 8-year-old triplets Abby keyboard, Gabby vocals, and Riley King guitar and bass, recorded an original single titled "Run Away" to raise money to fight cancer. They were inspired by a friend who is fighting the disease. Earlier this year, their friend Matt Dietrich was diagnosed with cancer. Gabby told KTVB that Matt has a brain tumor and lost his hair due to treatment. He has trouble walking and has to use a wheelchair. Wanted to help their friend. The kids set out to produce their own CD with some funds fronted by their parents. According to KTVB, they've raised over $1,200 so far. The albums are available for sale on the group's Facebook page. CDs are $5, with the proceeds purportedly going toward worthy causes. 100% of the profits will be donated, self-described Mager. Bob King told Yahoo News via email. On Tuesday of this week, the kids donated $200 to their school, Riverside Elementary, to set up a scholarship to help other kids who may need a boost. The remaining money will go to MSTI Children's Hospital here in Boyles to help kids who are going through cancer treatment. King told Yahoo News that Matt is doing amazing. He is one of the most precious souls you will ever meet, King said. Motivated, unstoppable, determined, kind, grateful. He just finished his last chemo treatment a week ago. Naturally, she's proud of her own kids and their desire to be a positive force. I'm so proud of these kids and their compassion and commitment to making a difference in the world. They are kind, funny, talented, and very normal. But what of the band's name? Apparently, it was a collaborative process by KTVB. We all picked the name, said Abby. Finish her sentence. Isabella added, Abby picked Runaway and I picked Hamsters and then we put it together. Runaway Hamsters. The next news I'm going to tell you is two people 7,000 miles apart. One unique Christmas card. Having a loved one serving overseas during the holiday is no picnic, but an enterprising woman found a way for the to be together, even though they are very far apart. Behold the Purdue Christmas card. One half shows 29-year-old Astrid T. Daniel Purdue in Afghanistan in army fatigues, holding up his part of the holiday greeting. The other half of the photo shows 25-year-old Christina Purdue in Santa hat, surrounded by the snowy landscape of Westchester County, New York. Thanks to some clever acting, the two come together for one wish: Merry Christmas! Despite their geographic disadvantages, we may not get to be together for the holiday, but we still manage to come together with our holiday photo. Christina Purdue wrote on her Facebook page. After searching for ideas, we came across this one and thought it was perfect. I hope you all enjoy. Safe to say, many are appreciating the effort. The card and the message behind it quickly went viral. On Facebook, the card is a hit, and their story was picked up by local TV station WABC. Comments like this are typical. Kimberly Milkshake writes, "Such a great idea, love this." Jessica Bennett adds, "This is so cool, and it came out perfect." This holiday marks the couple's second Christmas apart, and Christina Purdue hopes their last. Purdue, a school nurse who enjoys crafts, wanted to do something special for their holiday card. This is his last deployment. "We had to make it a pig," she told Yahoo News over the phone. She added that around this time of year, the troops should feel the love. "I feel like people think about the soldiers, but they don't get enough during holidays." She got the idea off the internet, mailed a posters board with the greeting to her husband, with instructions on how to pose. Back home, she did the same, and put the two images together through an iPhone app and posted it on Facebook. Boy, viral goes. The couple, who knew each other when they attended Central Valley High School in Montgomery, New York, reconnected through social media in 2008 and married in 2010. Out of the 5 years, I've had him home for 2. I'm just excited for him to be home. Christina Purdue told Yahoo News, "Deployments, no matter how many you go through, don't get easier." Even though the two are apart, their holiday message shows how close they are. The next news title is Beyonce takes the prize oven. Success at NYC event. New York. Despite all the hard work she put in on the songs and videos from her new oven, Beyonce had her doubts minutes before its surprise release. "I was terrified. I was so scared. I already envisioned like the worst things that could happen," Beyonce said Saturday at a screening for her new music videos. "I was really nervous because this was a huge risk." The singer's fifth album debuted at November 1st on the Billboard charts this week after it was released without the public knowing. Beyonce sold 670,000 units in the U.S. in a week. It has sold more than 1 million ovens worldwide. The album includes 14 songs and 17 videos, which fans were able to see during the screening at the School of Visual Arts in New York. Beyonce answered fans' questions via Instagram, including one about her opening up personally on the new album. I'm very private and I'm very respectful, and I think it just took me no longer being someone's child. Once I became a mother, I felt like I could hear those first words, and I just felt like it was time. She said, I completely feel liberated. Beyond's performance outstage on her Mrs. Carter World Tour on Friday, December 20, 2013 at the TD Garden. The album features collaborations with her husband, Jay-Z, Justin Timberlake, Drake, and her daughter, Blue Ivy. Beyonce is the follow-up to 2011's Four, the first album the singer released on her production company, Parkwood Entertainment, after parting ways professionally with her father manager, Marcel Knowles. I felt like I wanted to follow in the footsteps of Madonna and be a powerhouse and have my own empire, she said to cheers from the crowd, and to show other women when you get to this point in your career, you don't have to go side with someone else and share your money and your success. You can do it yourself. The album's unconventional release became one of the year's top pop culture and social media moments. Beyonce, 32, said she became bored in the music industry after her last release, and the new album is a reflection of experimentation and growth. Honestly, I was at a point where I feel like, everything feels the same. That's how I felt, and if I could not challenge that, then maybe it's time for me to do something else or develop more outlets, which is something I want to do, she said. I just hope that I continue to move forward and challenge myself, and I think now that I've become a mother, I just want my legacy to inspire people. She added that the goal of the new album was not to produce number one hits, but to showcase her evolution and create her own lane. Beyonce performed on stage on her Mrs. Carter World Tour on Friday, December 20, 2013 at the TD Garden. I took all of my insecurities, all of my doubts, all of my fears, and everything I've learned over the 17 of the 17 years I applied it into the project. She said, but more than the music, I'm proud of myself as a woman. The biggest message is owning your imperfections and all the things that make you interesting. Because I refuse to allow someone to put me in anyone's box. The next news title is China raises strong concerns over Japan's military spending. Beijing. China's defense ministry called Japan's plans to raise its military spending for the first time in 10 years deeply worrying for Asia and the world, saying on Saturday and that it strongly opposes its neighbor's policy. Japan said earlier this week it will lift military spending by 2.6% over 5 years, buying early warning pennies, which assault vehicles and troop-carrying aircraft. It was seen as the clearest sign since Prime Minister Shinzo Abe took office a year ago that he wants to raise Japan's military profile to meet what he says is threat from China's rapid military build-up and recent actions to back its claims to Japanese-held islands in the East China Sea. China said Japan's military plans raise questions about whether Japan is going beyond its defense needs to build itself up as an offensive combat power. Japan, on one hand, claims to be a peace-loving country, exclusively adhering to a defense policy. Yet, on the other hand, it peddles a so-called active pacifism. Pacifism. The Chinese Defense Ministry said in a statement on its website, "Where is Japan's military security policy actually going from here? This cannot but arouse strong concerns in its Asian neighbors and the international community," the ministry said. Japan and China have been mired in an increasingly fearing war over ownership of Tiny Island in the East China Sea, with tensions peaking last month when Beijing announced an air defense zone over a wide area including the island. Ties between the world's second and the third largest economies have for years been strained by what China says is Japan's refusal to confess to atrocities committed by its soldiers between 1931 and 1945. But even amid diplomatic spats, Japan remains one of China's largest foreign investors. In the 20 years to 2012, Japan was the sixth biggest military spender in the world, according to the Stockholm International Peace Research Institute. China, by contrast, leapt to second place from the seventh after it hiked its defense spending by more than five-fold. The next news title is Helicopter Gunships Used in Mexico Restored Battle. Mexico City. Two government helicopter gunships opened fire on 10 vehicles fleeing a luxury beach condo complex during this week's storm battle at the Gulf of California resort of Puerto Penasco, Mexican authorities said. New details emerged about the raging gun battle that ensued after federal forces tried to capture a reputed top lieutenant of the Sinaloa drug cartel who was staying at the beachfront villa. Mexico's federal police said that Thursday the two government-flagged helicopters fired on at least 10 vehicles as they tried to flee the complex with drug cartel operator Gonzalo Injuza. The vehicles were hit by gunfire in the Wednesday battle and were left useless, causing the assailants to disperse. 5 presumed cartel gunmen were killed in the battle. Police found 14 sniper or assault rifles at the scene, which one federal official confirmed were of heavy caliber. 2 federal officers were wounded in the gunfight. The bullet-ridden, burned-out vehicles were left to outside the complex, which federal police did not identify, but Puerto Penasco State spokesman Cristobal Garcia confirmed Friday that the shootout actually began inside the Bella Sirena complex, where Injunza was staying at the beachfront villa. The resort has units for both sale and rent, but it was unclear if the reputed couple owned or was renting the unit in which he was staying. Garcia insisted that these are not people who live in Puerto Penasco. Perhaps they were here on a holiday, but federal police said Injunza 42 had set up his center of operations in Puerto Penasco to run drug trafficking networks that stretch through at least 7 other states, from the Caribbean coast state of Quintana Roo in Mexico's southeast to Baja California in the country's northwest. They said Injunza had a personal relationship with Ismael Zambada, long viewed as the number two leader of the Sinaloa cartel after Joaquin El Chapo Guzman. Injunza's body was not found at the scene, and federal officials said they believe the fleeing gunman took his dead or wounded body with them, as cartel gunmen sometimes do with fallen gang members or leaders. Federal police said their Thursday an analysis of blood stains found in the vehicle showed that Injunza was among those killed or wounded. Drug cartel shootouts and massacres which result generally have been rare, though some have been reported in the past. In the Pacific Coast resort of Acapulco, prosecutors in the Gulf Coast state of Veracruz said Friday they had found 7 bodies dumped on a beach just south of the seaside city of Veracruz. They did not provide identities or a cause of death. In the past, tough drug traffickers have sometimes been caught, killed, or almost caught at beach resorts, but they appear to have largely left resorts and their tourists alone. No foreigners, visitors, or residents were harmed in the Puerto Penasco raid. Paul Benitez, a security expert at Mexico's National Autonomous University, said Injunza, who had a 3 million peso $230 million reward on his head, may have chosen Puerto Penasco not for the sun and sand, but because it is located about an hour from the U.S. border. The resort is located in Sonora State, which has been relatively free of the drug violence that has plagued other northern border states. The Sinaloa cartel may have chosen the Sonora Arizona area as a base because other border areas are under the control of rival cartels or feeling the effects of government crackdowns. Authorities said it appears that this guy Injunza was opening a very important border trafficking corridor, said Benitez. Puerto Penasco is an area with a lot of movement, a lot of traffic, and is perfect for setting up a corridor to sell cocaine, heroin, or marijuana and ship it into the United States. Benitez said nothing the government is shutting up the other big corridors in Texas and California. The Sonora corridor was the one left for the Sinaloa cartel, and the federal government is trying to prevent Sinaloa from setting down roots there, Ben said.